Oh dear, I forgot about my camera. Here we go. Haha. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and today we are here to take a look at a game known as Hellbound. I discovered this game just today. I discovered it by looking at my YouTube recommendations, and well, here we are. It looked good, so I decided to snap it up. This is evidently supposed to be a 90s-styled first-person shooter made today. And it looks like it's mainly taking after the modern-day Doom games. This is literally the first time I've played it, and so far, doesn't look that bad. I mean, I gotta admit, this looks pretty impressive, to me at least. Especially for a game that was like $11, so I'm not complaining too much. And I quite like any kind of new FPS that's kind of like this. That is totally not a Revenant. Well, I guess it doesn't look like too much like a Revenant clone. Is he actually taking cover? I'm kind of impressed. These guys look kind of like your typical Quake kind of guys. I do like how we have a rifle instead of just a generic shotgun. A triple shotgun, eh? Let's see. And the week is going well. And hello, Atomic. And yeah, the graphics are definitely classic, to say the least. Which, I don't mind. I mean, graphics don't really make the game, and the graphics look okay to me. Controls fairly well so far. I immediately fall in the lava like an idiot. There we go. We can actually jump pretty high, surprisingly. But I love how we have a triple shotgun. So it looks like Chiappa survived in hell. That Chiappa triple threat just really never really appealed. Like, really? A 3-barreled shotgun that costs $800? Yeah, I think I'll pass. And use, like, you know, a repeating shotgun. Just saying. Even in non-freedom, states, you can get a gutty pump action. But whatever. And the week has been all week, ladies and gentlemen. I am most tired. You know, I've not had a weekend in 3 months. Ooh, we can punch people. With only one hand, though. It's like, my god, whatever happened to this weekend? It's just an endless cycle of work and weary. This game's actually pretty good. I gotta say, I'm quite enjoying this game here. Like, these graphics, while they're not particularly advanced, they are pretty impressive. I think we're supposed to be in hell or something along those lines, and it looks pretty good. Let's see, do we have a quick save? Do we have a save at all? Okay, we do have a save. Oh, it's gonna be one of those games where you can't quick save. I love quick saving. Let's see. Turn off caps. Oh, there we go. I'm glad you enjoyed the Doom Eternal review. Monochromatic. Game pencils. And I have not done anything Xbox related for about 10 years. I mean, I had Xbox Live back around 2013, but I've not played anything Xbox Live related since then. I mean, with the PC and all, it's like, meh. And with PCs being fairly inexpensive to not manufacture, but build, it's not like the Xbox... To me, the Xbox just is not as relevant as it once was. I quite like that design. I mean, it's fairly generic, but it works well. Oh, but Doom Eternal, ladies and gentlemen, that video took a very, very long time to make. Because there's a lot to say about that game. There was a lot of editing. It took like 2 weeks to edit that goddamn thing. Because it was so... Really? Please tell me Ooh, I can reload the save. Sweet. Okay, there we go. There's the story. They call me Helgor, the last of my race. Somehow, humans revived me as a weapon against the demons invading Earth. The same bastards that massacred my people. They're sending me back to hell. So he's from planet Hell, but he's not a demon. Okay. So we gotta destroy some ancient pillars. So basically, it's a Doom clone in every sense of the word, but I have absolutely no problems. Now, I don't know if there's actually any sound coming, but I'm not seeing any... the desktop audio sound government does not actually appear to be working, but this is a game where I have to do a display capture, because for some reason OBS won't read it. Some games will do that, not all, but some. I don't really know what the criteria is, especially since they added Vulkan. So I have no idea what API this is using. And hello, Emperor. Indians on the Chiappa Rhino. I have never even owned a single Chiappa firearm. The only Chiappa gun that looked remotely interesting. Well, I've only got 6 health. I've totally not been paying attention. I've just been running in and shooting everything, as per usual. The only Chiappa thing that looked remotely interesting was that 9mm M1 carbine that, according to the various reviews, was kind of crap. Let's see. And, yeah, we'll see what... The Head Crusher, eh? Smacky, smacky. Yeah, I can say this is a pretty big winner. Because this is pretty fun. It actually has some difficulty to it. Not much, but some. Which I quite like. I mean, this is actually a legitimately good little, $11 game. We'll see if it actually gets crap at some point. But if it doesn't, we'll just have to... I might recommend this. Whoa, it apparently doesn't like to load the save, because, like, it was chugging there. See, my big problem with revolvers is they're fairly obsolete, so I wouldn't really recommend dropping, like, for that Rhino, I think that's like $800. I'd honestly recommend just dropping $800 and getting a RMR equipped pistol. I mean, that would just probably be a little more useful. Probably. Smack it. Okay, I need to actually get some cover here. And save again. For an indie game, this doesn't run too badly. I'm assuming this is running off of, this looks like a Unity game. Which is thankfully not just another asset flip. Give me all the sweet health. I mean, really, the graphics look not bad. Now, the people who developed this game, I think, developed some sort of Rocket League bowling knockoff kind of thing. I think. Don't hold me to that because I don't really remember. I never really got into Rocket League bowling, but which I mean, I never played it because I've never been a big fan of sports games, much less soccer games. So yeah. I mean, it's an interesting concept, but that is just a game I know for a fact that I would never actually like. Did I not pick up the yellow key? Oh yeah, that whole thing about about that being great for chicks is kind of annoying as well. Really, when it comes to chicks, I mean, come on. They can use just about any firearm that is manufactured today. I mean, it's rather amusing, really. Oh, that's what that does. Hey, that's actually... Oh, come on. Audio mix in this game is not that great, at least from what I'm from what I'm hearing here. I mean, really, the double-action trigger pull on some of those double-action revolvers is substantially worse than on an auto. And then there's the whole idea of the hand... Oh, that's a glitch right there. How could you, indie game? How could you? Even though Bethesda still can't really get... Okay, this has a little bit of... personality to it. I'm kind of liking the, Kilgore guy. And his voice actor isn't that bad. For a game that looks like it was developed on a budget of, like, $1. I'm kind of impressed here. But this is such a Doom clone. I love it. And yeah, there is no one-size-fits-all. I'm humanity's only hope. Once the fuckers that took my planet reached Earth, it took all of their resources to fend them off. So it's a bit of a Quake 2 inspiration there. The fragile humans were smart enough to figure out our teleportation system and sent a doomed army for a counterattack. They landed on my people's old warship site, the Unholy Lands. That's my next stop. Okay, I might... Unless this gets really crappy, this might actually earn a recommendation. Like, it's getting close. Really close to getting a proper recommendation. Like, unless it just blows up the computer, really? Unless it blows up the computer, I might have to recommend this, because, my god, I love the story already. And I like the personality of, Kilgore. And yeah, that dice roll system, I think, has been fixed with a couple of mods, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure, though. I think there's one mod that ensures that you win them all, but then... If you want to play Morrowind, I still recommend playing more Oblivion, as you have the same story, but just a better combat engine, in my opinion. In my opinion. I know some people hate that combat engine. Now, for an indie game, this is not running like shit. It is not running like shit at all, but it's still... I'm definitely getting a few frame drops here and there. And I get the feeling that my processor and graphics card should be able to run this full without any issues. This is still better optimized than Rise of the Triad ever was. Because Rise of the Triad well, I think it still runs like shit. I'm glad that Shadow Warrior 1 still runs fairly well, though. A lot of those indie games do have issues with optimization, but then again, they don't have a fairly big budget. But then again, big budget games still have issues with proper optimization. Okay, this is legitimately a good game. I recommend it. Because I love these big open areas. I mean, look at the graphics. I think those are. I think some of that is 2D bitmaps, but they look great. This is legitimately impressive. Like, this is a legit... It's very seldom that I'll just randomly come across a game, sight unseen, and actually absolutely love it. I mean, this is pretty nice. And the music, assuming you can hear it, is also pretty rockin'. I mean, this is a pretty good soundtrack. I mean, none of this stuff is original. This is purely a clone of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. The music actually is not a ripoff of anything Mick Gordon, because none of this is dubstep. But it is a rockin' soundtrack that is somewhat reminiscent of Quake 2's to a degree. I'm not complaining. Oh, goddammit! I'm not I'm so dead. I might as well just never give up. Well. And yeah, Skyrim is pretty pick up and play, but the only problem with Skyrim, with the old Scrim, is just the fact that it does get old pretty quickly. And some of the combat mods just make it too difficult. Okay, I'm gonna have to actually save. This game actually has difficulty. Who would have thought? Because here I am just blasted through, not paying attention. It's kind of amazing just how much staying power Skyrim really had when compared to Oblivion. Because Oblivion came and went after Skyrim came out, but there really hasn't been a replacement for it. Fallout 4 didn't dethrone it. Vault 76 surely didn't. It's just kind of interesting to me because I got into Elder Scrolls shortly before Skyrim was released. And so I really liked Oblivion, and Oblivion was decently popular, but it never reached the popularity at all like Elder Scrolls V did. So it's just kind of interesting that became sort of a gaming phenomenon. Because Elder Scrolls 4, it was still fairly niche compared to Skyrim. Say what you will about Skyrim being very basic. One of the things that Skyrim did is it did get a lot of new players into that series. And into, well, it's not really an RPG, but into RPG-shaped objects more than any other game, really. So there is that. And you can make Skyrim a little more immersive, a little more advanced, although the biggest problem with Skyrim for me is the story is so simplistic, and the character you play has like no dialogue options at all, and that's half the fun for me, is coming up with cool crap to say. Did I step in the lava again? Save. Damn. Well, I do not know why the music isn't playing. It should be. So this is just going to be completely quiet. Let's see. Is that gonna make it magically work? No, I bet it doesn't. How about there? Nope. Okay, this is just one of those random errors. Ah, well. I tried. Because it's one of those things where a magic break requires a magic fix. Trust me, the music sounds great. Look it up on YouTube. Just not on my channel. Let's see if I can't get it to work if I decide to stream this again. I'm glad I got to play this game, though. And I'm glad I discovered it completely by random. Also, this game needs a little bit of subtitles, because he said something about the shotgun. Oh, in the name of the triple shotgun, amen. Too bad I've yet to find any shells for that. This is gonna be one of those games where you don't really get any ammo, I bet. No, there it is. What am I saying? Well, this looks more like a plasma rifle, though, than an actual shotgun. Let's see, let's look at the designs here. The designs are interesting enough, but a bit simplistic. Kind of owing to the budget. But I like the fact that these are actual levels and not goddamn arenas, because they could have totally cheaped out and just done arena after arena. This is exactly the kind of game I love from my Doom clones, where it's just pure run and gun craziness. And these levels are pretty nice. I mean, for the budget they must have had, and for 11 bucks, this is way better than I expected. Like, way, way better than I expected. And I'll check the chat in just a second. I'm trying to not just play the game, because it's just that good. I mean, this is definitely a game you can just kind of lose yourself in. Which is exactly what something like this is designed to do. I mean, it's like, why is it so hard for modern developers to do this? I mean, seriously. One thing I read recently about Doom 2016 is that evidently Mick Gordon was not even supposed to use, like, heavy metal at all. Like, essentially, or id Software said you can do any kind of music you want. Just make sure it's not heavy metal. It's like, really? Really, Bethesda? And the combat is very satisfying indeed. I don't know, I think Oblivion hasn't aged that badly. I mean, it definitely has its flaws, but I feel it's more... I think the depth is... There's more depth to Oblivion's gameplay than Skyrim. And I think you can play Oblivion... At least for me, I can play Oblivion a lot longer than I can play Skyrim before I get bored. Because, like, Oblivion... I like the combat system a little bit more. I like the locations a lot more. And... I'm also quite fond of the repair mechanic. There's just something about a repair mechanic that I like. Because with the repair mechanic, like, you come to, like, really appreciate your weapons and armor. It's one of those immersion things that Skyrim just doesn't really have. Oh, it's a nice find. One of the big problems with flea markets is they do like to overcharge on a few things, especially when it comes to comics. The very first comics haul I ever got was when I was a kid. My grandparents went to a local flea market and got a bunch of cheap Spider-Man comics. It was the first time I ever really got to read 80s Spider-Man. What's kind of funny is I was such a young kid when I got those comics that I didn't know that the comics were actually from the 80s. I just assumed they followed the TV show, which was on at the time. And so I thought it was like reading ahead. For some reason I thought that those comics, the comics like ran ahead of the TV show, and then like the TV show adapted from the comics, which I guess is kind of true, but not really. It's true in spirit, if not in fact. Because a lot of those stories were made, like, decades before. But with that in mind, though, I was not surprised that Spider-Man finally married Mary Jane. But I was quite surprised and was kind of disappointed that it never got adapted into an episode of the show, that Spider-Man eventually became a super hero, in that he got the power, not the power cosmic, which is the Silver Surfer's thing, but basically got, like, some sort of cosmic power that let him fly and shoot energy blasts out of his hands. It's like, we have a superhero, we can make it even more super. Let's see. Resident Evil Remake. You know, I still need to try to finish that. $1 a pop, not bad. Although, I could actually bring up a really depressing comic haul that I got from the local flea market. The year was 2000 and... 2. There's an economic downturn that had happened a few years earlier, the .com bubble that burst, and a lot of people lost a lot of money that weren't even really directly connected to tech. And one of the guys selling off some comics at the local flea market had lost his comic shop, also due to the comics bubble bursting as well. And so he was selling off his remaining stock really cheap. That was really depressing for, like, 12-year-old me. No, it's 13, I think. That's how I got Batman vs. the Predator. I can never read Batman vs. Predator without thinking about that. Because that was just kind of sad. Yeah, that's almost like 20 years ago now. That's insane. I have become very old, it would seem. And yes, that was the early 2000s when I got that 1 gram bar. Got it free by buying a 1935 $5 bill. That's another kind of depressing thing, because, like, when I started going to that coin store at that flea market, the guy had, like, this really fancy shop, and then either his wife died or his wife left him, and his shop got substantially less fancy after that. What can I say? I'm just a bundle of joy today, it seems. Spider-Man 2099 comic. Not bad. Oh yeah, eBay is like the worst thing for trying to find good deals at like flea markets or half-price books. I remember half-price books, you could get like games really cheap. I did not know that it could explode. Like, you used to get games really cheap at half-price books. Now they know how much that shit is worth. I actually found a copy of Elite Force 2 at a half-price books. They wanted like $50 for that. Needless to say, I did not pick it up. Hell damage. It's like, it's not quad damage. We swear, it's just great value. It's like, it's 3 damage. There we go. Double damage. No, double damage is also. Oh god, no. I don't know why Resident Evil 3, the remake, isn't any good. I mean, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, it looks like it's fine. I haven't gotten around to it just because, well, I have no time because I'm working all the goddamn time. 3 fucking months without a weekend. 3 months! And no one can really see me. There we go. You can also see part of my pillow. That's one thing I love about buying pillows online. They come vacuum sealed. I'm always very paranoid about buying a pillow, like, at a Walmart or something. It's like, just anybody can touch that. I don't want to put my face on that. And I died almost immediately. And I have absolutely no idea who made that bar. It did not have a fancy name like that. It was definitely not foreign. So I have no clue. I haven't even looked at that bar in like a couple months, so yeah. Evidently silver's going up in price. I'm not surprised, what with all the insanity going on. God damn it. eBay and the movie just... And the movie just went out of print this week, the very same day. Huh, weird. Kirkland Famage. Yeah, that works. Okay, so this game is actually somewhat difficult. And I said actually, kind of like a Youper almost. I don't know, it's like I have a very strange accent, it just keeps changing. It's from lots of different places. Oh, unrelated from lots of different places, I actually watched episode 1 of The Lower Decks. So, here is an unpopular opinion. It's not as bad as STD, or Discovery, for those who don't know what STD stands for. And it's not as bad as Picard, but it's still pretty bad. But it's not as aggressively terrible as STD, and it's not offensive like Picard. But my god, is it... It is watchable. I'm gonna say that. It's more watchable than STD. And I kind of wonder if, like, there's 2 sets of... God damn it, not the lava again! I kind of wonder, are there two sets of writers working on these Star Trek shows today? Because it seems like one set of writers will set out to make a show that's actually good, and this other set of writers just comes in and just fills it full of shit. I don't really know if that's the case, but it just seems that way, because there's a lot of good elements to Lower Decks. There's like a few things in it that aren't bad. It's not aggressively terrible. But the problem is, like, the asshole writers show up and make it aggressively terrible. Because, like, the introductory has Ensign, who knows what the hell his name is, Ensign Generic Man, you know, giving his little captain's log. That's fairly entertaining. You know, it's like, oh, this guy thinks he's better than he really is. You know, it's like, that might be good, right? And then you got this person who I swear is on cocaine shows up just screaming, talking a mile a minute. It's like, what? Why did the show stop being good? That sidekick character, I don't even remember what her name is just the worst aspect of the Lower Decks. Like, the absolute worst aspect. It's like, there are moments in Lower Decks where it seems like the show is going to be good. And then literally 2 seconds later, it turns to complete shit. Usually when somebody just kind of freaks out and starts talking a mile a minute. It's like, why do they think that's funny? It's not. It's terrible. It's like, there is the bones of a decent show in Lower Decks. There is the bones of it. Somebody made a decent show, and then somebody came in and ruined it. Because it could be good. It could be, but it's not. However, as bad as it is, either A, I like really want some Star Trek, or B, it's just not horrible enough that it might be watchable. Might be, but ugh. And then I wonder if one of the writers is like some sort of rebel, because I wonder if like there's some subtle humor that's sort of like biting the hand of Alex Kurtzman. I hope that is the case and it's not just something done completely by accident, because it would be nice. Because like the senior officer, now since this is the Lower Decks, it's supposed to be centered around all the Lower Deck crew members. Now TNG already did this and did it way better. But in this universe, the evil Star Trek universe, the senior officers are terrible because we can't have heroes, because that would be the Raycast. And I wonder if I could sort of like a subtle dig at like Alex Kurtzman's idea of the senior officer. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, it's not as aggressively terrible as it could be. And I'm sorry to say, that's probably the best we're going to get from Star Trek until Kurtzman loses his control over the Star Trek franchise, which will probably be sometime between now and never, because even if he does lose control, Star Trek is probably going to be dead for the next decade, and then maybe they might try it again, and maybe it might be good. But really, how hard is it to make Star Trek? It's like, just don't make it about politics, don't make it, well, you can make it about politics. Well, I guess politics these days aren't as universal as they once were. But still, interact with what? Okay, that's a bit of a glitch. Oh, there's a door. Stop attacking me, Baron of Hell, imp wannabe. Great value imp. I'll check the chat as soon as I get down here. For whatever reason, games really love this little stairwell kind of thing. Dark Souls really loves those little things. I guess it's kind of neat, but still. Let's save. Check the chat real quick. Paradise Lost. Oh yeah, Paradise Lost and Homefront really are. One Corona and one is Sujubbery. And yeah, STD. It's like even the name lets you know how bad it is. And it didn't even get a it didn't get a fourth season. Really, I don't know how these Sujub writers even keep a job, though. I mean, it's like, how do you fuck up Star Trek so bad that, you know, the fairly woke Netflix won't buy it? They don't want it. How do you fuck up Star Trek so bad that woke Amazon won't buy it? Is that just sad? Oh, if I could make a sequel to a game, what game would it be? I think everybody already knows the answer to that. KOTOR 3. Oh, I would make KOTOR 3, you have no idea. And like, can you imagine KOTOR 3 with modern day graphics? You know, can you imagine, like, and also decanonize Old Republic. I'm sorry, I did not like Old Republic or what the story, because like, people do like Old Republic and they do like the Old Republic story, but I really dislike it because it's basically the original trilogy, but in, you know, KOTOR land. And it's like, really? Why did we need that? Why do the Star Destroyers, you know, pretty much look like they do in the original trilogy? What's with that? And then there's other issues like how, you know, all the characters that we knew and loved from Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, they all die. Yeah, spoiler alert, they all die. Every last one of them dies. Revan gets used as a living soul battery. So yeah. Isn't that wonderful? So before we got the joy of Jar Jar Abrams, you know, Star Wars was already killing off beloved characters. Oh yeah, the character you play in Jedi Knight 2, or not Jedi Knight 2, KOTOR 2, just get straight up shot in the back. Kirk style, actually. So yeah, I do KOTOR 3, where you track down the Sith Emperor, and he's the final boss fight, you win the end. That's what I would totally do, and that's some very nice levels. The Hero's Cemetery. Well, I guess we'll go check out Revan. Operation Payback was a disaster. Just like ours, humanity's forces were massacres. Massacred, no survivors. At least some got the burial they deserved. Some rocks sprinkled on our own graveyards as Wait, no, what? Some rocks sprinkled on our own graveyard as tombs. I guess that's English. Others were not as lucky. Their amputated limbs and entrails sent back as a message. I have a feeling the demons won't like the answer to that message. Me. Okay, we got some, we got some interesting English there, but whatever. I'm not going to complain too much. These shotgun guys are ridiculously powerful. I mean, look at how much damage they just did. It's awesome. It's just difficult enough to be fun. I'm assuming those little onions explode. Yeah, they do. That's some gastronomic distress. I can already tell the music is a little generic, because this song is not really that much different from the song we just heard. Well, due to OBS not really working all that well, no one actually gets to hear it. What they should have done in terms of Star Trek is just make a TV show based upon the book series New Frontier, where you've got the ultimate representation. The ultimate representation, and that is, of course, an alien captain. But they'd probably complain because Mackenzie of Calhoun, the captain of the, was it the Exeter? I think it was the Exeter. Still looks like a regular human. One of those pesky straight white males that they hate so much. New Frontier is an interesting series that was supposed to be the Star Trek expanded universe, because you gotta remember that the Star Trek books don't really well, at one time didn't tie into each other. They all kind of did their own thing, whereas Star Trek New Frontier, they tried to codify everything into one universe. There's actually a lot of representation, as they say these days, in New Frontier, except, you know what? It's not aggressively awful. Like, Mackenzie of Calhoun, he's the captain, and is the evil, pesky, straight white male, but his first officer is female, which is actually Elizabeth Shelby from the famous two-parter Best of Both Worlds. Then you've got Dr. Solar, who, in an interesting decision, was made to be lesbian. So there's your representation right there, but it was actually kind of ahead of its time, in that it even represented the transgender community by making a literal transgender species. And the funny part about all that sounds really woke, right? And it would be if Peter David was actually, you know, a terrible writer. Instead, he's actually a pretty good writer, and it never actually gets woke. It actually is a legitimately well-written book series, despite all the trappings that we would consider SJW by today's standards. And all this was like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And there's a book series I need to review at some point, but there's a shit ton of books and it's just there's not much time to review everything. I'm just one man. Let's see here. Can't tell these direct coach. Everything is infinitely worse than Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine was kind of ahead of its time in the idea that each episode wasn't supposed to stand alone. The whole Dominion story arc and all the rest. Actually, if you've never even heard of Deep Space Nine, I probably just spoiled a major plot point. Oh yeah, there's no such thing as the Dominion. It's just a myth. It's a myth. They were peacefully protesting the Federation. I swear. It was Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5 that really brought the whole idea of the story arc to television in many respects. That's one of the main issues with TNG, in that it's very, very much standalone. I would have liked to have actually seen some story arcs for TNG. What I find really annoying are some of the excuses given for why TNG really kind of took a nosedive in terms of quality. The idea that, oh, we ran out of ideas. Then steal from the books. Because there were a lot of books that didn't make it into TV episodes that would have made perfect TV episodes. Like the one where Picard has to... Picard, actually, he either picks up a distress call or finds a planet where there's this war between some Federation survivors and this reptilian race of aliens. It actually has a very good resolution at the end as well. It's like, why not just rip that off or just adapt that? And then there's Debtor's Planet, where the Ferengi are trying to create a race of space pirates. I mean, there's so many good things you could have taken. Hell, you could even take the first TNG book ever, Ghost Ship, and turn that into a TV episode, even though that one's pretty lame. The very first TNG book ever, it's like aggressively Season 1 TNG, to the point where Picard is contemplating letting the Enterprise be assimilated by an alien ship so he doesn't offend the aliens. You can't make this shit up. He legitimately wanted to do that. But that's Season 1 Picard for you. So, I'd actually take Season 1 Picard over Picard brand Picard any day, just because, my god. See, that's one thing about Picard. Like, when the Star Trek website actually says, you know, we wanted to basically make Picard look like a complete enfeebled old man, you know it's going to be bad. With that in mind, here's my question to all of you. Which would you rather have? Phoebe Picard or Evil Picard? Which would actually be the least worst? For me, I'd rather have an evil Picard simply because at least he'd have dignity. Whereas you know, the enfeebled Picard that we got from, you know, Picard, it's just offensive. I mean, it's like if you had like Star Trek Locutus, where Picard becomes the main villain for the series, that'd actually be way better than just making him an enfeebled old man. It's just wrong. It is a betrayal. Let's see. And yes, Jar Jar Abrams does indeed do that. Make an RTS out of a franchise. Well, pretty much every franchise I like already has an RTS. I mean, Aliens does, Star Trek does, Star Wars has multiple. Dune has several, actually. Doom RTS, there we go. There actually is an RTS for Half-Life. If I liked Half-Life, I'd be excited about that, but I don't like Half-Life, so I don't really give a damn. Let's see, so it's like the Doom RTS, now that'd be kind of interesting. The double RTS? No! Let's see, what would make a good RTS that would actually make sense? Now I'm kind of curious, what would make... RoboCop RTS, there we go. We have to manufacture multiple RoboCops to fight crime. And then watch them get defunded. Wait, no, never mind that. Although that actually is kind of an interesting thing, though. Now that we know that that can even be a thing, if they were going to make another XCOM game, that should be one of the failure states for that game, where your PR is so low that literally the UN decides to yank all of your funding. Although then again, since I haven't played XCOM in many, many years, that could already be a thing, and I just don't remember. Okay, this is where one of those aspects of some of these indie games that I don't like. It's where the hell is the green key? I've gone all around the level and can't find any goddamn thing. Let's see. An SF faction, eh? Oh, the Covenant do make a fairly decent Dominion analog. They kind of do the same thing. Unless I'm supposed to go down here, maybe? It looks like I'm sure. I might be overthinking it. Let's save just in case. Because all we want to find is the goddamn green key, which of course we can't find. Oh, I guess that's where we were supposed to go, is over here. And there's the green key. Exploration? That's too difficult. Really? That's not a green key. I need a red key for that. Well, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. I should probably just paint it black. But, oh well. I don't have a paintbrush. Let's see here. Is there anything over here? This is where the game's probably can end up losing me because I can't find the goddamn key. Say what you will about modern games, but the little, you know, compass thing is good for when you just can't find that goddamn thing. Is it supposed to spawn? I just don't know. As I'm wandering around, and I'm finding it absolutely nowhere. Union of colonists have been left for dead. That's actually a pretty good sci-fi faction concept. I think there's a couple novels based around that idea. I think Chris Nuttall actually did a few things about that. Okay, there's got to be a switch that I'm missing somewhere. Is that a thing? Do we shoot that? No, that does not do anything. No, but that made some enemies spawn, so maybe that's something? I guess that's all the people who worked on the game. That's a lot of people. Let's see. Wow, am I an idiot? Maybe. Maybe, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, I can't find it. Oh, it's right in front. See, they put it right in front of me, so if it's... Or maybe not? That did something, that opened something somewhere. Oh, I bet that opened that. I bet. But with that in mind, Lower Decks. I can see why it did not get an international distribution or anything like that, because it really isn't that good, but it's just... It's a show that might have actually been liked by somebody. See, that looks like that should open that, but it didn't do anything. Maybe it opened something over here? Oh, it must have found the green key. Whatever. I'm just gonna blame it on being tired. Delete. You know, that actually is a pretty cool concept. Someone wants to be... Oh, don't even get me started on that, Atomic. It is one of those things where, my god. At least in Star Trek New Frontier, it was an actual alien species that had that part of their evolutionary biology, instead of just, well, yeah. But we can't say that. YouTube would take the channel down. Because, oh, there we go. Haha. I like this guy. I like that. He has the name of a He has the name of a 90s anti-hero, and he actually has some pretty good lines. And the game doesn't even really run like crap. Whenever there's too much blood, it has sort of like the Halo effect, wherein it completely slows down the game, but damn. I mean, the guys who made this game did a pretty damn good job. I would definitely recommend getting it for $11 though. I would not pay like $30 for this. Now this makes me really want to play Proteus whenever that's going to come out. Although I like the classic 3D graphics a little more than the pseudo 2D that Proteus is going to use. And Proteus is even more of a ripoff. This actually feels, you know what this feels like? This doesn't necessarily feel like a Doom clone. To me, this feels like more of a Quake 1 clone, which, this actually feels more like a Quake 1 clone than Wrath Aeon of Ruin does. Because I was wondering why I was enjoying this so much. That actually is a pretty nice looking 3D model. That looks pretty good. For the budget they had, I think they did pretty damn good with that. One day I will pick up the Master Chief Collection. I don't really have much of a desire to play that on PC all that much, just because until the mods actually start to mature, then I might. But I already own all those games anyway for the 360, so I don't feel like buying them again. But once the mods, you know, start getting churned out, like there's some sort of SPV3 for, you know, the modern day releases, then yeah, I might. What I would like to see is a Halo 2 mod that actually gives Halo 2 an ending. I think that would be pretty awesome. You know, instead of it just being, "Sir, let's finish this fight." And because I don't really feel like playing Halo 5, which is probably the only reason I would buy the Master Chief Collection. Because that completely ruins the Halo universe, because of course they ruined it. What fictional bad guy would I serve? You know, that's a good question. I would never really want to serve a bad guy, but what's the least bad guy? Well, with basic with changing concepts of morality, if I somehow wound up in the 40K universe, then I would not mind working for Kane as like an adjutant or something. Because, well, he definitely serves a faction that by our standards would be considered morally bankrupt and like evil. Because I did the math. Actually, let's try to do the math for a moment. And remember, I'm bad at math. In Warhammer 40K, 10,000 people are sacrificed to the Emperor every day. So, if we do 10,000 times 365, that's 3,650,000 people a year, times 10,000 years. That's a lot of zeros. So technically, the Imperium of Man has killed off more humans than literally any other faction in the 40K universe. So, with that logic, I could technically work with Kane without too much difficulty. But, you know, the 40K, the Imperium of Man is still pretty bad. That's a lot of zeros. And I must really be tired because my reflexes are way off. It's a good thing I have a Kappa triple threat here. Alright, after this level, I think we'll call it a day. Vader and Thrawn. Thrawn, maybe. Vader, no. Gameplay isn't that bad. I don't know about Xeon. I don't remember what their actual politics were. Or if Gundam really even explored that. That's one thing about Gundam Wing that was kind of interesting. They actually humanized the enemy faction. Even if Gundam Wing was still kind of anime, just saying. It's like, why would you send a bunch of kids in giant robot suits? I mean, I guess it works, but it just seems kind of time to survive. Kill anything that moves. Not an arena. This is where I'd like to have some grenades. So we've got a little bit of Serious Sam here. But I gotta say, I'm actually enjoying this a little bit more than Serious Sam. Oh, crap. Although, I'm just gonna say that, and then I got killed by basically a fleshy, clear skeleton. I fucking hate those things. Well, see, what's interesting about Kane is much more of a good guy by our standards. Because that's one of the things to think about. When it comes to Caiaphas Kane, he considers himself a coward, and by 40K standards, I guess he is, because he won't, just shout all glory to the first man to die. He'll actually use tactics and stuff like that, which is what we in the modern era would use. So yeah, he makes more sense from our modern perspective, but still, Kane is actually a legitimately good guy who I think here's the thing. In 40K, you're just supposed to attack all the time. Attack. He doesn't do that and doesn't want to get killed. By 2020 logic, not getting killed is a good idea. But by 40K logic, you're not supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to give your life to the Imperator. And so, my theory is the reason why he is so hard on himself is because he knows he doesn't meet the 40K standard of bravery. And so, to us, he's smart. To himself, he's not as good as he should be. It's kind of an interesting dichotomy when you really think about it. Although I don't think dichotomy is the proper word. It's an interesting dilemma for him. Which is closer to what I'm trying to say. Now, we're definitely not going to have to work with Vader, though. Vader is insane. Probably about as bad as the modern-day Ruth Bader get. Never mind. That's political. I am so gonna die. Yep. Because, like, Vader, you never know what he's gonna do. And, like, he is actually legitimately, in my opinion, utterly insane. Because, like, you tug on his cape, he's just gonna choke you out and kill you. That's one of the reasons why the Executor wasn't a very good ship when you think about it. Because everybody was just terrified of making the slightest mistake. I wonder, though, like, would there be higher rates of suicide on the Executor? Because the reason I say that is, people would have a very difficult time dealing with the constant stress of, if you make even the tiniest mistake, you just straight up die. See, I always like to ask questions like that. What would the psychological effect be if you had to serve under Vader? Because Vader actually has no rules. He can do whatever he wants. So it's like, at any time, you could just get your head cut off by his lightsaber. Well, he didn't kill Piet, that's true. But think about all the other people he did kill. Like Captain Nita. It's like, he choked out Captain Nita, and it's like, well, what the hell was Captain Nita even supposed to do? What makes it worse is the Imperials ended up killing off Captain Nita's entire family, except for one guy. Because, well, that makes sense. Is this a thing? Hell skin. Oh. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense, because I'm being attacked by, like, everything. So this is basically the, invulnerability sphere you can get in Doom 2. This may be a clone, but it's a damn good clone. We're talking, you know, ARC Trooper level of clone here. So I always felt that killing off Captain Nita was a completely idiotic thing on the part of Vader. I mean, it's like, what was he supposed to do? But to Vader, it doesn't matter. You just failed. Whatever. Thrawn is a little better about it. I like that line. Since the goddamn audio doesn't work, Kilgore here just said, I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do is kill motherfuckers. That's pretty good. That is a good line. That is a legitimately funny and memorable line. I highly recommend this game. It is good. Play, whatever the fuck this game is called. Bloodbound. Hellbound, there we go. It's a clone, but you know what? It's fucking good. If only for Kilgore here, or Hellgore, whatever the fuck his name is. Awesome dude. Bro dude. If only for Bro Dude's personality. And the gameplay's pretty damn good too. That was the only arena we've been playing for an hour. And yeah, the music's kind of generic, but still, it's good old-fashioned heavy metal. And the level design's pretty nice. I mean, these levels took some time to make. I'm quite pleased I picked this game up. It's like... Oh god, don't tell me I have to do another goddamn arena. Yeah, but I have to. Don't make me do it. Don't make me eat the words I just said, game. Don't make me eat those words. I was giving you a lot of praise because it's actually pretty good. I guess that's one problem I do have with modern day games, though. It's like, I would not mind having a boxed copy of Doom Eternal. Because, like, when I was doing the review, it's like, well, what am I going to put up in the background? It's like, Doom Eternal doesn't have a box, and I can't really just put up Doom 3, because that'd be kind of confusing. And, like, with this game, if this game persists in being good, I'd like to have a boxed copy of this. I mean, there's some limited run games where you can get, like, a boxed copy, but it's not like there's going to be anything in that box. It's not like they're just going to be able to create a disc that has the data on it. Let's see. Some of those people. Pull up to the side. And no, I never did belong to a fraternity. I didn't belong to anything. I just went to school and left. That was about it. To be honest, I'm not much of a joiner when it comes to things. It's like with work. Go to work, leave. I don't really do much other than that. And with school, it was just go to school, leave. I may have talked to maybe 5 people the entire time I was in college, so... I like talking to individuals, but I don't like just joining random groups. It's just never been my thing. I think we're finally getting close to the end of the level. God damn it. These levels are quite good, and they turn me on. You can definitely tell a game is good when I've been going for an hour and I'm not even completely exhausted yet. One thing that is kind of funny about that Doom Eternal review, though, is I show footage of Doomslayer cutting the head off of one of the Hell Priests, and it's from a live stream, and so all you do is see me in the corner doing this. It's like a victory water chug. I totally did not plan that, but it just looks hilarious, at least to me. God damn it. Oh yeah, the hazing and crap. You know, my thought is this, if any of that, I'm assuming most of that's true, like, when I was going to school, I never had any desire to even do that in the first place, but, okay, why would you want to even join a group where there's even a chance for that to happen? Why? What's the point of that? Actually, I know the point. As soon as I say it, I remember what the point is. The point is, you join a fraternity, you go through that crap, and you have contacts for the future, so you can get a better job and make more money. That's why you endure a crap like that. But you know what? I would rather have less money and not endure that. Just saying. And besides, if you have to endure crap like that, would you really want to work with those people? Just saying. That's one of those things where, is it really worth it? Is it really? Okay, let's do that. This game does have some nice difficulty to it. It's just... No, goddammit! Fucking lava! Has just enough difficulty where it actually is kind of legitimately old school hard. The only thing it needs is a quick save key. Because having to do a manual save every time really gets old fast. This is basically the same guitar riff over and over again, though. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Which thankfully is not annoying, but you can definitely tell they had one guy who knew vaguely how to play the guitar, and he does it. God damn it. And he does a pretty good job. Yeah, if I was ever in a situation to do that, I would also walk away. Hashtag walk away, right? It's one of those things. I don't know. I guess you have to be a certain kind of person to want to do stuff like that, of which I never was. It's kind of like the traditional young and crazy kind of concept. I never did the young and crazy crap. I actually was thinking about that just today, randomly. You know, like, people do like to go out and get drunk on occasion. I've had a grand total of, out of 31 years, I've had 2 beers and found them to be meh. It's like, meh. It's like, what's... I never really saw the point, so... God damn it. Fucking clear skeleton. He's got some flesh, but he's basically the same thing as that. And just as annoying. You know, of all the things to clone, why do you clone the clear skeleton? That is something you edit out of the genome. It's like if Boba Fett had, or not Boba Fett, but Jango Fett had erectile dysfunction. You edit that out of his genome. You don't put it back in. Alright, I think we got to the exit. And we did, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, alright, let's check the chat. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well that is, Hellbound. Oh, well, you can definitely tell this is, just a little of an indie game, because when I hit escape, it brings that up. I just find that kind of funny. Let's see what the next level looks like. Well, I guess that's the end of the game? Because I'm pressing the fire key to continue and it's not working. So, I don't know. In any event, I'm General Lotz. Wish you good. Hellbound, I'll see if I can get that to work. I don't know what the hell just happened. That's kind of the issue with indie games. Sometimes you, get crap like that happening. But anyway, I am General Lotz, and I will wish you good, Hellbound, or any number of Doom mods, whatever makes you happy.